Hold on 1 second, y'all. Trying to fix something. Also waiting on this one first. Hold on 1 second, y'all. There we go. Finally got this to fucking work. Now this working. Thank y'all for being patient. Started shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to Gauntlet Ascension. I'm your favorite underwater host Sharky, and today we have quite the matchup for you guys. We have the Rogues currently with a 5-7 record, and we have the Ox Cords with a 6-6 record. If the Rogues win this, they will tie up the Ox Cords for 5th place. And if the Ox Cords win this, they will tie the Wavy Ones up for 4th place. First matchup for today will be Ian Keith versus F1 Pro X, followed by Big Pile versus Ivory, and then Matt Martin versus Peak Eric, and of course Sam Finch versus Ramations. So we're gonna head in over there into our scene. Players, do you want same piece sets? Here's your seed. We got it ready from both players. We can get this match underway. All right, there's ready from F1 Pro X and Ian Keith. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And to start things off, Ian Keith able to open up with the first Tetris of the game. F1 having to do some early burns. Bit of an awkward formation over there on the right-hand side. Love a T piece, or decides to use the L piece. That's going to work out nicely too. It's 91 to now 31. Ian Keith, long bar dependent over there on the left-hand side. It appears that we are going to be running into a drought. F1 looking for another Tetris. Oh, that misdrop over there for Ian Keith could be problematic. Able to get that J piece all the way over to the left. F1 is going to top out. Massive drought, so Ian Keith is going to be good for game number 1. Increment the first 2 of the seed, so your seed should be 5B. Once we have it ready from F1, we can get this match counted down. Alright, we got the ready from F1. Both players are ready to go into game number 2, so let's go ahead and get them going. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. start this game, F1 has already scored first Tetris of it. Ian Keefe had to take a couple of burns to get the stack back under control. And both players are in a position to continue scoring Tetrises in regular intervals. Bit of a rough game last time around. As soon as we got to 11 long bars, massive drought kind of did F1 in, and Ian Keith was in a position to survive after a couple of close calls. A couple of burns forced over there on Ian Keith's side, able to still find the Tetris, and still does F1. Got a greatly timed L piece. Go over there, flat to the left. And a couple of tricky pieces over here for Ian Keith. But he's still going to be golden. 129 now for Ian Keith. 164 for F1. F1 sets up a delay burn. It's going to open up the well, but now it's long bar dependent. Nothing's burning for F1 at the moment. Those pieces are going to help him out. Not risking a top out at this particular juncture. Couldn't use that I piece though. J piece dependent and still looking for another long bar to go and score a Tetris with. There's the Tetris for Ian Keefe, and there's one for F1 as well. 198 to now 199. Ian Keefe with that single had taken the lead. Now we are tied. 199, 512 to 190, or now 222, 312 to now 222, 312. Tie is going to be broken. Ian Keefe had to do some burning. Meanwhile, F1 was able to find a Tetris. $253 now for Ian Keith, $245 for F1. As things stand, very calm. Both players not in any trouble. Ian Keith behind by one Tetris. F1's just been able to be a slight amount more efficient than Ian Keith here. But F1 is going to slow down. So Tetris for Ian Keith's going to bring him up into the lead. As F1 is forced to take more burns. And a triple gets committed over there for Ian Keith. F1 now. A little bit tricky positioning here. Covers up the wheel right as soon as the long bar comes. And Ian Keith narrowly gets that I piece over. Would love an S piece. There it is. And a Tetris to be scored. 378 to now 320 or 332. A couple of tricky pieces over here. Ian Keith does able to bring the sag down to the bottom. $410 now. $432 to now 366. Ian Keith able to build quite the lead. Slight misdrop, it would seem, on that T piece. And that O piece does not do him any favors. An opportunity has arisen for F1. Ian Keith holding out for this T piece. T piece did not come soon. Or rather, soon enough. Nice tuck into a Tetris over there for F1. 413 and now 445. Ian Keith has brought the board all the way down to the bottom. Only leads by a Tetris and a half. Cut that down to half a Tetris following that Tetris from F1. There's one available for Ian Keith. Really trying to be patient with how he gets Tetris ready. F1 knocks down Tetris and takes the lead. And Ian Keith, with one line to go, will take us into transition with that line. 476 to now 487. Ian Keith, early dash load. Going to be forced to do some more burns here. Meanwhile, F1's going to knock down Tetris. Goes up to 512, leading by 1 Tetris. Ian Keith, nice. Good patience. Needs the eyepiece to go over there to the right-hand side. Could get set up. He's set up for a Tetris. But he needs that long bar. Long bar. Nowhere to be found. He needs it right this second. Long bar. No long bar at all. A drought is what both players run into. And Ian Keith unable to survive. F1 Pro X ties up the match 1-1. All right, we have it ready from both players. Let's go and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Slightly different approaches to how both of the players open that up. And they both push down for 12 points exactly. Interesting. Oh, nice adjustment over there for Ian Keith. Ian Keith sets up a delay burn. Looking for an L or a J. There's the J. Now just needs that L. Doesn't find it. Nice maneuverability over here for Ian Keith. F1 has been on an absolute tear here in the opener. It's going to be leading by 2 Tetrises early on. There's a Tetris for Ian Keith. F1 kind of struggling a little bit. Love to see another eyepiece to at least go in the center. Doesn't get it in time. And gets the L piece, decides not to use it to burn out anything. Went for the Tetris first. With that, Ian Keith is going to take the lead barely. $201 to now $200. There's Tetris for Ian Keith. 225 to now 223. Both players knocked down a Tetris, so going to be separated by 4,000 points. Ian Keith and F1 are both in position to score Tetrises going forward. It's a Tetris for Ian Keith, and another one for Ian Keith. There's the Tetris for F1. Couldn't use the second long bar to find the second one, though. But the Tetris will be scored there. 298 to 296. And Ian Keith feeling the pressure of this drought. Nothing's going to burn. Ian Keith hangs a piece over to the left, and at 299, 800, F1 takes game number 3. All right. Seems we have ready from both players. Let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Currently F1 on match point. Ian Keith has to take this game in order to force a decider. Wow, identical stacks. To the T. Ooh, a little bit of deviation right there. Burns being forced on the players, but Tetrises are going to be scored. F1 couldn't use that long bar, had to throw it over to the left-hand side, and couldn't use the other one either. There's Tetris for F1, 79 to now 95. $147 to now 129. And Keith not really too happy with the pieces he's receiving. Long bar dependent on the left-hand side, and it would be a triple at best. Now looking for a J piece or an I piece. Either or would work. Does get the I piece. Would knock down Tetris. F1 in the lead at 199. And F1 just with a cleaner stack than Ian Keefe at the moment. So can it continue to extend the lead? Keeps just going to burn down, not going to try and go too aggressive. 194 for Ian Keefe, 251. Make that 274 for F1. And touch is going to be scored there. 239 to now 299. So Tetris for Ian Keefe was getting a little bit uncomfortable. F1 still with a 3 Tetris lead at 327. Ian Keefe at 268. And T-spin hit over there for F1. Narrowly surviving the drought. Great placement over there for F1. Smart way to mitigate how high the stack was getting. F1 going to be looking for an L or an I piece. Or an O piece, I meant. There's the O piece. So now is looking for that I piece. Ian Keefe has closed the gap. Down by now 2 Tetrises. Nice adjustment over there for F1. Tetris for Ian Keefe. 386 to now 405. F1 struggling to utilize these long bars. Tetris ready. Waiting on the next I piece to come. There's a dirty Tetris for Ian Keefe. Nice flat bar burn over there for F1. But now we are neck and neck. F1 going to go ahead and take the conservative burns. Keeping the well open. There it is. Tetris going to be scored by both. Another Tetris for F1. 461. 2 Tetrises possible with perfect play. Otherwise, 1 Tetris will be available to F1. .484 to now 481. F1 is Tetris ready, and F1 is going to take us into transition at 508. Ian Keefe takes us into transition at 506. Ian Keefe has to win this game to force a decider. F1 has to win this game to bring the aux chords the first point of the match. It appears that we're running into a little bit of a drought here early on, but F1 weathers the storm. Knocks down a Tetris, goes up to 538. Ian Keefe running into complications. Needs this eyepiece. He needs it now. Gets the eyepiece, able to get it over, but is this salvageable? No, it is not. Ian Keefe is going to top out at 537. F1 at 542 is good for match number 1. Or for set number 1, giving the aux chords the first point of the match. We'll let F1 play this out so then that people can have this tracked, make it easy for them, or easier. What the freak? All right, well, there it is. don't go anywhere. We will be right back for our next match, which will be Big Pile versus Ivory. So stay tuned. Big Pile, do you want to do same piece sets? All right, Big Pile says yes to SPS. So, once Ivory confirms, I can get y'all a seed. Great. 1 second. We got it ready from both players. Let's go and get them kind of down to the second set here being played in this match. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Here you see I, J, Z. Different approaches too. Big Paul was able to score the first touch of the game. Ivory follows up with one of her own. Nice adjustment as well. So no burns for Ivory and 1 for Big Pile. As Tetris for Big Pile goes up to 68, or Tetris for Ivory goes up to 68,000. Big Pile at 70,000. Ivory has to take her first set of burns here. It does find the Tetris. A couple of burns being forced on both players' sides, but they both knocked down a Tetris 116 to 118. Big Pile in the lead by virtue of the burn lines. He's going to find that Tetris, knock it down, and or no, doesn't knock down Tetris. Ivory does. Got an unfavorable S piece there. That's going to complicate things. So Big Pile going to be able to hold on to this lead for just a little bit longer. Just like that, Ivory burns out, down by a Tetris, but also the Tetris worth behind and lines. She's able to get Tetris ready. Putting up at the long bar, taking a safety double. Not trying to tempt RNG. There's the Tetris for Big Pile, and there's the Tetris for Ivory. Neither player was able to find success off the second long bar that came afterwards. But Ivory does knock that down. 196 to now 197. Big Pile knocks down a Tetris, but has a long bar dependency on the left-hand side that has to be dealt with. And it's dealt with pretty swiftly, too. But now a couple of holes have developed in Big Pile's stack. Ivory, trailing by 6,000 points, will be given an opportunity to take the lead. And take the lead she does. 243 to now 227. so far. It's looking pretty good on Ivory's side. Big Pile just needs a couple more pieces to help him burn out of this. Preferably a T piece. Gets 2 of them. That's actually ideal. Tetris is going to be scored for Big Pile, and Tetris is going to be scored for Ivory. 291 to now scratch that. 313 to now 258. $288 for Big Pile here. Ivory, 3 Tetris lead just about. Maybe a little bit under. And Big Pile, once again, experiencing some complications. As both players not in a scoring position at the moment. Ivory does open up the well. Covers it back up. As Big Pile is in a little bit of trouble. Trying to find a way to open up that hole. Does get a long bar. That's going to be a triple. Ivory gets the well open just in time for a Tetris. Big Pile survives. 371 for Ivory. 304. Make that 327 for Big Pile. That hole in column 3 is going to prevent him from scoring a Tetris until it is either accessed or dealt with via burning a triple via the eyepiece. And then having to go for row 2 afterwards. Unfortunately, that eyepiece, there it is. Now Big Pile is set up for a row 2. Ivory keeping the well open. Nice, able to get that piece over to the left. Tetris going to be scored for Ivory. So Tetris for Big Pile as well. 421 now for Ivory. 366 for Big Pile. Very contested level 18 we have going on here. As we get closer and closer to the level 19 transition. Both players trying to get their boards prepared for that moment. Ivory would love a J piece. Or even a Z piece here. Unable to find it, so going to have to take a couple more burns. Big Pile set up for a center well. Gets it. And it transitions at 387. Ivory, on the other hand, waiting for the long bar. And Ivory will transition at 480 flat. Big Pile bringing the stack back down to the bottom. And there's the Tetris for Ivory. Looked like he wasn't going to get over, but had just enough DAS. Up to a 100,000 point lead over Big Pile as he's still in the process of burning this out. Ivory looking for a J piece now. Fills in the J piece dependency, has an L piece dependency that needs to be dealt with. Burns out the L dependency and converts it to an LJ. Gets all the pieces to fill in the middle. And Ivory is clean, but so is Big Pile. Nice maneuverability getting those pieces over to the left for Ivory. She's going to take the safety double, waiting on the next long bar. That hang. Tetris is going to be scored, but how is Ivory going to deal with this? Able to tuck that underneath. Misses the Z-spin. Now Ivory's having to dig mid-stack. Hits the T-spin. Didn't have enough DAS. Early DAS load. Ivory's going to top it at 548, but Big Pile tops it at 443. Ivory is good for game number 1. Both players are ready for game number 2, so Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. ZLZ. $71K for Ivory here in the opener. $72K for Big Pile also in the opener. Ivory's going to have to take 2 quick burns. But a Tetris will be scored and she's going to take the lead. Big Pile just having to bring the stack down. Not too much that he can do. Giving Ivory an opportunity to go up by potentially 2 Tetrises. Fortunately, Ivory had to do a little bit of burning up top to maintain a safe stack going into that Tetris. So, gonna be separated by a Tetris generally until something changes. Ooh. Bit of a tricky sequence developing over here for Ivory. She's gonna take the burn. Eyepiece dependent. That eyepiece, there it is. Does finally show up. Ivory set up for a dirty Tetris. It's just going to take the burns. And that eyepiece hanging over there on the left-hand side. We might be looking at an early top out. And that's what exactly we're going to get. Big Pile ties up the set 1-1. Right. We got it ready from both players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. JTO. Or LTO. My bad. Almost makes me think of PTO. First Tetris of the game does get scored by Ivory. Big Pile experiencing some early game complications once again. And just going to try and burn this all the way down. Of course, both of these players will be playing in the playoffs for their team. Big Pile almost set up for the first Tetris on his side. Here's we are running into a drought here. There's the Tetris for Big Pile. There's the Tetris for Ivory. So Ivory definitely able to make the most of those first 20 lines. And all Big Pile can do for the time being is just try and match her efficiency. Until the point to where Ivory ends up in a situation which then that's when the opportunity can arise. Nice disciplined burns over there for Ivory. Not going to go too aggressive. Able to find another Tetris. 150 to now 88,000. 3 Tetris lead for Ivory. Deals in the isolated dependency first. And then deals with that left side next. Tetris is going to be scored. Big Pile forced to do some burns here. Great placement on that S. I believe the best way to play that piece out. Ivory looking for an L or a J. Receives neither. Sets up a delayed burn. Well is open. And scores the Tetris. Untimely O-piece, though. Ivory's actually going to go and play it a little bit more conservative. Going to take the extra burns. Ivory going to be setting up for the row 2. A little bit more aggressive, more elevated than the row 1. But sometimes when you just need that little bit of extra efficiency and not sacrifice so many burn lines just to get the stack back down to ground 0, that's when you end up with that row 2 Tetris well. I would love another L piece here, or an I piece. Either or would work. Gets the I piece. Nice flat long bar burn. Great pieces over there for Ivory. She is now Tetris ready. Big Pile. Looks like he's going to start to operate off of a row 2. Tetris for Ivory goes up to 266. Big Pile at 182. Players hit the 80 line mark. And, oh, early Dazzload over there for Ivory. It's going to complicate things a little bit. And that's the exact moment that Big Pile needed. Ooh, those S pieces, not the best timed. Oh, Ivory unable to get the I piece in his desired location. Needs to get the piece over to left. Nice pole vault, staying alive. What a scare, but what survival over here from Ivory. Big Pile with that Tetris does take the lead. Ivory would love to see an I piece. And those misdrops, those look like those are going to be fatal. Ivory tops that at 280. Big Pile goes up 1 game. Now leads the set 2-1. Alright, we got it ready from both players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Game number 4. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Nice little find over there for Ivory. Ivory's going to be the first to knock down a Tetris as well. She's definitely looking to take this game forward, bring it to a decider, and put the aux chords into the advantage for the rest of the match. There's the first Tetris of the game for Big Pile. Big Pile's gonna find his second one. Ivory, actually, with that Tetris, the lead has been neutralized by Big Pile. Ivory is Tetris ready. So when the next long bar comes, she can use it to score. Gonna be forced to take a double there. It's gonna take another one just to be safe, because we are running into a drought. Another double, followed up by another double. But Ivory knocks down Tetris. So does Big Pile. However, Big Pile is not going to be scoring a clean Tetris anytime soon. Can still try and go for a dirty. Ivory's bringing the stack down. Don't want to risk hanging a piece over there on the left. She currently holds the lead. As Big Pile. Stack continues to elevate. There's Tetris for Big Pile, 135 to now 135. Another Tetris for Ivory, going to bring her into the lead. Big Pile just continuing to set up for dirty Tetrises. And that's kind of the best way to down stack, is with Tetrises in terms of efficiency. Maybe not the safest way, though. Ivory's going to be forced to take some burns here. Going to go for a row 2. Finds that row 2 and gets the J piece to burn out to go back to row 1. 189 for Ivory, 164 for Big Pile, who is yet to be clean. Over the last couple of dirty Tetrises, though, he has managed to fill in a lot of the holes that were present on the stack before then. Nice flat double over there for Ivory. 215 now for her. 174 for Big Pile. And just like that, Big Pile's all the way down to the bottom. He's cleaned up and he's ready for some more action. No Tetris for Ivory. Goes up to 262. 80,000 point lead as both players are at the same line count. Big Pile opens up the wheel just in time for that long bar. Great timing right there. Ivory covers up the wheel right as soon as the eyepiece hit the stack. So Big Pile starting to make a little bit of a comeback. There's a Tetris for Ivory. Another one's going to be scored by her. 313 to now 252. So Big Pile able to successfully shave off one Tetris off the lead. We are closing in on the transition. Ivory leads by 2 Tetrises at 361. Is going to add a Tetris, go up to 383. Big Pile trails at 323. Both players at identical line counts, so there is no fancy pace calculations that need to be performed or anything like that. But something that is going to have to be performed is some surgical precision to get out of this for Big Pile. We are closing in on the level 19 transition, so you definitely want to have a workable stack. Ivory gets the long bar over. Scary situation. But Big Pile potentially knocking at death's door. Needs another eyepiece. Needs to get a piece over to the left. Has to go L flat. No other options. Hangs a piece to the right. Big Pile is going to top out at 334. Ivory is good at 418. Meaning, ladies and gentlemen, we have a decider. Yes, it is 93. All right, we have it ready. It's time to get this decider counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. OLS. Very different approaches to how the first Tetris is built up. It looks like Ivory and Big Pile are going to score it at the same time. Big Pile pushing down a lot more here. Second Tetris is going to be scored over there for Ivory. Big Pile had to take quite a few burns there, 4 to be exact. So Ivory will lead by a Tetris. As she waits for the next long bar to grace her stack. Big Pile able to find the Tetris that she couldn't. So we're more or less tied. Tetris for Ivory, Tetris for Big Pile. And yeah, we're separated by just mere pushdown points right there. 96 to 97. Like Ivory's approach, really trying to focus on that exaggerated double wide there for a moment. Helps her weather this drought a little bit more efficiently. And it's going to allow for the conversion of a Tetris, too. Big Pile stack. Oh, Big Pile finds that Tetris as well. Had to take quite a few burns in order to get it. Still, very efficient way to get Tetris ready after basically deconstructing the stack a little. Oh my gosh, that was a beautiful burn from Ivory. What a way to deal with those pieces. However, this drought is very terrifying. Those misdrops. Ivory needs to get the piece over to the right. Definitely a little bit of a scare there. That eyepiece is going to help. The well is open. One more eyepiece would be friendly, or heck, even just an L. But an eyepiece. Tetris is scored. Ivory lives. Amazing survival on her part. And a beautiful delay burn setup over there with the L. However, Big Pile has utilized this opportunity and taken a 1 Tetris lead. .208 to 208 there for a moment. Now we are tied, 231 to 231. Big Pile finds the Tetris, is going to be leading by 1 Tetris so far. He's able to find another one. Ivory just having to take some maintenance burns, keep the stack low enough to build up on. And also manage the droughts. There's another Tetris for Big Pile and Ivory. Couple of rough O pieces right there. Ivory's going to be looking for an eyepiece. And then might decide to go for row 2. There's the eyepiece, so that's going to burn that triple. Either way, very close and contested game here early on. Those Z pieces not doing Ivory any favors. Ivory goes for the tuck. Takes the skim. Tetris ready. J piece dependent, but knocks down a Tetris. 354 for Big Pile. 318 for Ivory as she waits on this J piece. Finds said J piece. Now waiting on an L or an I. Gets the L for the triple. Just having to take some more conservative burns. Oh, that Z piece was really rough. That's not going to burn anything. Now Ivory needs an eyepiece. Eyepiece did not come, but she finds an alternative solution. Another misdrop. We are closing in on the transition too. Nice job on Ivory's part, trying to keep the game alive. Goes for the flat burns. Nice adjustment on the T. Tetris ready. And Ivory knocks down a Tetris. 364 for Ivory, 402 for Big Pile. As Ivory will transition on the next line clear. Big Pile with still a Tetris and change to go. There's the Tetris. Ivory transitions 390. A well-fought transition for Ivory, but she trails by 50,000 points. Big Pile will transition at a 472. Ivory would love a J piece to go for a burn here. J piece not found, so has to use that L piece instead. A little bit shaky here. Nice split double. Ivory just trying to bring the board back under control. Those pieces are going to help do so. Ivory is Tetris ready. Big Pile having to go for a triple. Ivory forced to do some skims. Really trying to play this conservative. There's the Tetris for Ivory. 435 to now 496. And these S pieces, not what Ivory is looking for. Goes for the flat burn over there on the left-hand side. Big Pile at 526. Currently an 80,000 point lead. Ivory trying to take her time getting Tetris ready. Not wanting to overextend. This is the decider after all. There are no more chances for either player. Ivory is Tetris ready. Putting up at the long bar. Long bar doesn't come within a nice enough time frame, so she has to burn. Takes another double, waiting for the next eyepiece. There it is. Tetris for Ivory goes up to 484. Big Pile at 542. Goes for the triple. Another Tetris for Ivory. Goes up to 514. Down by a Tetris and change. Ivory is going to be forced to do some burning here. Beautiful delay burn on that T-piece. And Ivory going to be forced to do some more burning here. Not getting the pieces that she's looking for. Furious amounts of burning is being done by both players. Ivory gets the pieces over to the left. We're at level 25. Time's about to be running out for these players here. Ivory reopens up the well. Now to get Tetris ready, looking for an L or a J. Finds neither. Oh no. Would love an O piece. Can't do anything. Ivory tops it at 534. Big Pile at 578, running into that same sequence, knocks down a Tetris and seals the deal. The Rogues tie up the match, 1-1. The match is tied, but that doesn't mean that it's over. We're gonna be heading into our intermission as we get our next match set up between Peak Eric and Matt Martin. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Alright. Martin requests if Pikarik is fine with SPS. Seems like you guys like that song. Alright. Well, there's your seed. Right. Looks like we have a ready from Peak Eric and in chat confirmation from Peak Eric, and we got a ready from Matt Martin on the screen. Let's go and get both these players counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. We are currently tied in the match 1-1. This set will determine which team has the advantage going into the captain's match. Which captain is going to be playing to force their team to go to a sudden death, and which captain is going to be playing to avoid a sudden death. The Rogues are probably the team that has been in sudden death the second most, obviously with top down being in sudden deaths most. They have had some success in sudden death, especially who could forget the first match of their season up against the Millionaires, winning a crucial sudden death then. $138 for Peak Eric, $177 for Matt Martin. As of right now, Matt Martin's holding on to a lead here. 251 to now 238. .365 to now 331. Matt Martin still holding on to a lead here in a little bit, 2/3 through the pre-transition. As it stands, both players haven't really found themselves into too much trouble in this game. P-Carrick I'm going to do a little bit of burning. Matt Martin already up to a 3 Tetris lead as P-Carrick waits patiently for the J. Gets the J and the O. Followed up by an I piece. Couldn't ask for better a piece sequence than that in that moment. There's Tetris for P-Carrick. Goes up to 454. Matt Martin looking to transition with a high 500. P-Carrick looking to transition with a low to mid 500. 3 Tetrises are available to him. There's one. Not getting anything to go well here in the center. Can just hope for an eyepiece, and my eyepiece was a bit too late. But Matt Martin transitions 579. P-Carrick transitions at 510. Both players looking for their first Tetris here on level 19. And this drought seems to have potentially gotten the better of P-Carrick, but no, he's going to survive. Quick couple of Tetris, or burns into a Tetris. P-Carrick lives 547 to now 636. Meanwhile, Matt Martin has built up a 100,000 point lead. P-Carrick not quite getting the pieces that are ideal for him to continue scoring. As a matter of fact, is long bar dependent in 2 separate places. Covers up 1. Able to fill in the long bar dependency. Beautiful burns over there for P-Carrick, but Matt Martin, couple of misdrops here in the center. Lost ass. Has been able to recover, but needs another L. A little bit shakiness on the dash. He's doing everything that he can, but it's not going to be any avail. But hold on, it's not over. P-Carrick has to chase down the score. He needs to get an eyepiece over to there to the right, and it's not going to happen. P-Carrick touched it at 562. Matt Martin is good for game number 1. All right, we got it ready from both players. Getting them counting down to game number 2. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Bit of a tough game over there for PK. Got put into a lot of uncomfortable situations. Was able to survive majority of them. But the one he couldn't allowed him to top out with a score that was less than Matt Martin's. All right, to open things up, PK is the first to score a Tetris. Matt Martin's going to answer with one of his own. More burns are going to be a force on Peak Erickson. But otherwise, we're basically neck and neck. Matt Martin's going to be able to find little spouts of efficiency. Tetris over there for Peak Eric. A bit uncomfortable here. He has a couple choices. Does he burn all the way down or does he try and set up for something dirty? Matt Martin's able to find a Tetris, but a couple of holes are going to prevent him from scoring a Tetris until they are dealt with. So, good enough opportunity for Peak Eric to potentially capitalize and tie things back up. And Peak Eric also having to deal with holes of his own. There's a Tetris for Matt Martin. Tetris for Peak Eric, 138 to now 151. And Peak Eric not able to get that piece all the way over to the left. As a matter of fact, this is a dangerous situation for Peak Eric. Nothing's going to be burning. Needs to get a piece over to the right. Does so narrowly. And looks like if an eyepiece comes, Peak will survive. Dirty Tetris over there for Peak. 174 to now 267. And, oh, wow. Another concerning misdrop. Needs this eyepiece. Peak Eric has an early top out at 186. Matt Martin is good for game number 2. Well, players are ready to go. Matt Martin leads the set 2-0. See if Peak Eric can make a comeback. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Peak Eric, already in the early game, found himself slightly in an uncomfortable position. Should be able to navigate through, though. Both players, actually. With the same kind of, like, center wheel complications. Garrick in a danger zone. Does have the lead at the moment. Getting the pieces over there to the left. Very crucial. Down to a much safer stack. There's 117 to now 58,000. P-Carrick with the lead. Matt Martin almost back in the scoring position. Both players impressively surviving the series of rough pieces. $174 for P. Carrick and $122 for Matt Martin. Both players now in a much better position to continue scoring. And Martin is long bar dependent on the left-hand side. But gets all the ingredients that he needs to cook up a Tetris. Well, there it is. 170 to now 221. $313 and now $217. Matt Martin trailing here. P. Carrick. Well is open. Both players should be able to continue scoring Tetris from this point. 409 for P. Carrick, 311 for Matt Martin. A little bit of misflips over there, but P. Carrick able to recover fast enough. One more Tetris available for P. Carrick. He finds it. 525 transition for P. Carrick. And a 401 transition for Matt Martin. P. Carrick has to win this game in order to continue the set. Otherwise, Matt Martin will take it and give the Rogues another point. There's another Tetris for P. Carrick. Matt Martin getting up high. He needs the long bar. He needs it soon. Running out of room to place pieces, but that triple could help him out slightly. Having to go for some flat placements. Unless Matt Martin can swap to rolling right now. That's going to be wraps. Matt Martin tops at a 417. P. Carrick avoids the sweep and injects the set with new hope. Alright. We got it ready from both players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Nice Tetris over there for P. Carrick. Stands right now, we are pretty even. P. Carrick actually pushing down quite furiously, too. Slow the push down a little bit. There is Tetris for P. Carrick, 124 to now 101. Now Martin setting up for a dirty left well. Able to knock it down, now set up for the column 2. Unable to find the eyepiece in quick enough time. Just gonna burn that out. Still waiting on the next eyepiece to score this column 2 here. Goes for the T-flat double. Goes for another T-flat double. There's Tetris for Matt Martin. Now he's set up for the left well. Really doing the best that he can to maintain as much efficiency as possible. And Matt Martin unable to properly adjust that eyepiece. So a couple more burns are going to be forced on Matt Martin's part as P. Carrick takes a Tetris lead. Matt Martin has brought the stack almost all the way down to the bottom. Looking for a J and an L. Both of them come a little bit later than he would like. Matt Martin actually in a dangerous situation. Unless he can get something over there to the right. He cannot. 219 top out for Matt Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a decider. We have ready from both players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. So this is it, game 5. Another decider here in this match between the Rogues and the Aux Courts. In this set, however, Matt Martin went up to a 2-0 lead. P. Carrick, however, has done all the steps necessary except for the last one to complete a reverse sweep. And that last set would begin right here in game number 5. Nice flat burn over there for Matt Martin. P. Carrick going to take a 1 Tetris lead. And he's going to knock down another one. Tetris for Matt Martin, 142 to now 168. P. Carrick at 216. A Tetris, now 2.5 Tetris lead. Matt Martin's gonna, no, never mind. Yeah, still 2.5 Tetris lead for P. Carrick. Or P. Carrick is ahead in lines. He's been pushing down throughout majority of this game. So it's definitely gonna cause him to lead in the line aspect. Just for P. Carrick, 289 to now 237. Nice little overhang over there for P. Carrick. 336 now. Matt Martin trailing by just about 3 Tetrises. Forced to do a lot of burns there. That's a lot of eyepieces he's not using for Tetrises either. There it is, Tetris for Matt. P. Carrick in a little bit of danger. Multiple J-piece dependencies were built up there. Tetris is going to be scored. Give him an opportunity to bring the stack down. Matt Martin hits the S-spin, goes for the safety double. There's a Tetris for Matt Martin. Might be able to use this opportunity to close the gap by pretty significant margins. There's another Tetris for Matt Martin. 1 Mino shy. But P. Carrick is starting to fight back, scoring Tetrises too. We are closing in on the level 19 transition. Tetris for Matt. And Tetris for P. Carrick. 488 to now 425. Matt Martin will be trailing by 2 Tetrises in terms of pace. Currently 3 Tetrises real time. There's another Tetris, and you can see Matt was trailing by 2 Tetrises here. P. Carrick forced to take a triple. Finds the long bar, knocks down a Tetris, 448. for Matt. Gonna be forced to take a triple as well. No Tetris for Peak Eric. Matt withstanding this drought. There's another Tetris for Matt. One more available for Peak Eric, and Peak Eric is gonna find it. Transition at 568. Matt Martin with one more to go. Another Tetris for Peak Eric, and that's gonna open up that hole. Peak Eric's starting to build up Tetrises down here from the bottom on ground zero. Matt Martin looking for a J piece and something to burn to get Tetris ready. And that something to burn is in fact that Z piece. Matt Martin holding out for the last long bar before level 19. Gonna throw pieces over to the left. Has to take the triple. Unable to score Tetris, but will transition just south of 520. Trailing by 100,000 points as Peak Eric nears the top of the board. Trying to stay alive here. Matt Martin narrowly gets that piece over to the left. Tetris is scored. 547 and now 651. No Tetris for Peak Eric. Safety double committed over there by Matt. Looking for an eyepiece here. No eyepiece in sight. There's the eyepiece. Matt Martin going to be able to stay alive for a little bit while longer. Well is now opened up. Matt Martin's just going to take the 3-line burn. There's one eyepiece he couldn't use. There's another one he couldn't use. Hoping for a third that he can to help him get out of this situation. There's that third long bar. Able to get the L piece all the way over to the left. Would like another L piece. Now looking for an L or a J. Gets the L. Needs one more. Oh no, never mind. Hits the quick tap. Matt Martin able to survive. Knocks down a Tetris. 603 to now 797. Almost a 200,000 point lead for Peak Eric. There's another Tetris for Matt. And a Tetris for Peak Eric. 827 now at 632. There's a Tetris for Peak Eric. Tetris for Matt. 662 to now 857. Matt gets set up for another Tetris. Trying to put some pressure on Peak Eric. Matt goes aggressive, not trying to take the triple. And it pays off. There's a Tetris for Matt. Set up for another. There's another Tetris for Matt. 724. Peak Eric with this 170,000 point lead is not budging. Now back up to a 200,000 point lead. And Matt is running out of time. Needs Peak Eric to top out right now, or he's gonna have to roll switch when it comes. Oh, Matt Martin can't get that quick tap unless he can swap to rolling real quick. Try and go for a 5 tap. It's not gonna happen. Matt Martin tops out at 730. Peak Eric with the reverse sweep takes set number 3. And the Ox Cords lead the match 2 to 1. There it is. Peak Eric with a max out. But ladies and gentlemen, the match is not over. We can still see a sudden death. That's dependent on Captain Sam Finch and Rawmations. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient. It is time for our captain's match. Both players are Tetris ready for Tetris. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Let's see. We gotta start from Ramations. And we have our start from Sam Finch. Of course, Ramations needing to win this. So the Ox Cords tied the wavy ones for 4th. Sam Finch needing to win this. So the Rogues go into a sudden death for a chance to tie the Ox Cords at 5th. The stat sheet was made public last week, and this second half of the season has been some of the most contested that we've pretty much ever seen in Gauntlet. You obviously have your 2 pack leaders, the Millionaires and the Grandmasters. But when you look at all the other teams, especially the 6 or so teams that are in the middle, it is a bloodbath. So determining those bottom 4, as I've said, like pretty much all season long, determining those bottom 4 will definitely come down to these matches as we're winding down. But to start things off, Ramations 213. To me, it's a near flawless opener for Ramations. 105 for Sam Finch. Sam Finch not getting too friendly S's here. Forced to do some more burning. Nice flat bar burn with like another eyepiece. Of course, we do got to consider that Ramations is, in fact, ahead in lines. Ramations is at 260 at 55 lines. Sam Finch is at 123 at 47. There's the Tetris for Sam Finch, down by 140,000, and definitely Ramations holds on to the pace advantage. $334 for Ramations, $219 for Sam Finch. Oh, the adjustment bits. Looking for an L or a J. Finds the L. Would like to see the J sometime soon. Well, that was actually kind of bad timing. Need the A or the J a little bit sooner. But no, Sam Finch is not going to go aggressive. $232 to now $425. Sam Finch is we like to call enduring a suffer game. 267 now for Sam Finch. 474 for Raw Mations. And, oh, decides to go for the double tuck there. Raw Mations experiencing some complications, so Sam Finch can use this opportunity to kind of form a comeback of sorts. Raw Mations actually goes for the right eyepiece dependency first as opposed to the left. There it is, 340 for Sam Finch, 487 for Raw Mations. Raw Mations is in a dangerous situation here. Trying to down stack. Only 6 lines to go before level 19. That burns a singular line. Oh, those pieces are good. But there it is, Raw Mations transitions, 497. Opens up this center well, needs an eyepiece. Would like it sooner than later. Oh my gosh, getting that T-piece all the way over to the left, keeping that center well open, knocks down the Tetris, reopens up the right well, and follows it up with another Tetris. Tremendous survival over there for Raw Mations. Sam Finch is going to transition somewhere around 456. Clutch survival on Raw Mations' part right there. He's going to be holding on to this 130,000 point lead as he goes to level 21. Sam Finch now experiencing some complications here. A lot of eyepieces and couldn't use a single one of them for a Tetris right there on level 19. As a matter of fact, Sam Finch running into a drought. That left side needs to be dealt with. Eyepiece can't make it over. Is that it? Yes, it is. Sam Finch tops out at 465. Raw Mations is good for game number 1. So players, if you could increment your seeds to increment the first 2. And give me your readies when y'all are in fact ready. Looks like we do have a ready from both of our players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down to game number 2. Raw Mations leads the set 1-0. Let's see if Sam Finch is going to tie it up. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Get our start over there from Raw Mations. Already set up for his first Tetris. After this game, we'll give Sam a refresh. We got our start over there from Sam. Formations already has 1 Tetris on the board. Sam Finch. A little bit scary up here. Both players running into situations that's keeping them from scoring Tetrises. Sam Finch has yet to put 1 Tetris on the board. But there it is. There's the Tetris for Sam Finch. And another one to follow. Ooh. A little bit of unfortunate misrotation over there for Raw Mations. It's going to prolong this dig a little bit longer. Would love an eyepiece. Try and go for a row 2. Looks like he's going to go for something greater than that. Going to go for a row 5. Knocks it down. No matter what, trying to keep the pressure on Sam Finch. As Sam also encountering similar issues. Nice T-spin double. And a misdrop over there from Sam. Looking for that J piece. Another misdrop from Sam. Nice double tuck of the T underneath. $219 now for Ramations. And Sam also in a clean Tetris scoring position. Oh, Ramations with the interesting J burn setup right there. If a T-piece had come like almost instantly, that would have worked out flawlessly. But still, the stack is clean. $201 now to $274. Sam has brought his board all the way down to the bottom, and he was thinking about what to do. Looks like he's going to set up a column 8. If he does get this column 8, it will be a perfect well transfer. Fortunately, LPs came a little bit of rough timing, so he's just going to take one extra burn. As things stand here, Ramations with a near 100,000 point advantage, slightly ahead in lines, but not enough to get rid of all of that advantage that he's built up over the course of this level 18. There's Tetris for Sam Finch, 319 for Sam Finch, 390 for Ramations. We are looking at some 400k transitions. You can definitely see down there at the bottom of these players' boards, the long bars have not been plentiful. Speaking about not being plentiful, we are encountering a drought right there. 2 quick Tetrises for Ramations brings him 1 line away from the transition. And Ramations takes us into level 19 with a 467. Tetris ready. Sam, 1 more Tetris to go, and he's going to take us into 19 with a 437. All that and only down by a Tetris and change. It's going to come down to some post-transition play. Ramations able to knock down the Tetris, goes up to 545. Sam potentially setting up for something in the center, but I'm sure if an eyepiece comes, actually if an eyepiece comes, that's a dirty Tetris over there for Sam. 465 to now 547 as Ramations goes into level 21. Sam keeping the well clean and open is going to knock down a Tetris, goes up to 492. Down by approximately 2 and some change. However, it appears that there is a drought that is being encountered over there for Ramations, but perseverance prevails. Another Tetris for Ramations. Sam Finch, now it's his turn to experience that drought. Holding up with the long bar, waiting patiently. Takes the triple, keeping things safe. Holding out for the long bar. Man, this is a drought. Has to go for another triple. Still waiting on this long bar. There it is. Finally, Tetris over there for Sam Finch. 537 and now 639. A 100,000 point lead has been built up over the past level for Rawmations. Sam knocks down a Tetris looking for an L or a J. Not able to find either. Finally, there's the L. And oh, Sam Finch is actually going to go for the column 5. Knocks it down. 595 to now 697. Rawmations looking for a lot of specific pieces. Those O pieces are not what he's looking for. Able to execute the tuck. Would love a T piece to go over there in columns 4 and 3. And unfortunately, Rawmations just really going to have to deal with these unfavorable pieces. Might be forced to go for a row 2 here. And Sam Finch, clean stack. Looks like he's actually in a position to capitalize. There's another Tetris for Sam Finch. Rawmations now set up for the row 2. Potential hang over there on the left side of that O piece for Sam. Goes for the tuck. And there's not going to be anything to tuck underneath, so Sam Finch is going to have to do a little bit of burning and going to have to fill in the long bar dependency right there in column 3. However, Rawmations maintaining this 100,000 point lead. There's the triple burn over there for Sam Finch. And Sam, yeah, he's going to go for the triple, not going to go for the dirty Tetris. Back down to the bottom. 810 for Rawmations now. Make that 843 as he's still maintaining this row 2 Tetris. There's one for Sam. 714 now. 843. 130,000 point lead for Rawmations. Add a Tetris to both players' boards, so the lead doesn't change, but the score does. Rawmations really building out that left. Holding out for the long bar. He's already up 1 game in the set. His team is up 1 set overall. There's the Tetris over there for Sam. Rawmations trying to get the well open. Well is now open. Sam at 846. There's the Tetris for Rawmations. 1 more can be available before 29. Doesn't find it. Goes to 29 at 957. Can't get the piece over to the left. Rawmations needs the eyepiece. He needs it now. There's the eyepiece. Able to bring the stack down. 995. Has to go for some flat placements. Would love a T piece to go over there to the left-hand side. Hits the 5 tap. Able to get a piece over there to the right, but nothing burns. But Sam is also in trouble. He's at 853 and only 8 lines to go before 29. Not able to get anything over to the left. Sam Finch tops out at 853. Rawmations surviving in level 30. Takes game number 2. All right, we got it ready from both players. This is game number 3. Sam Finch has to win this in order to extend the set. But if Rawmations can win this, then the Aux Chords will tie themselves for 4th this season. Truly tremendous survival on display there. And Sam Finch got into a situation that even with the right pieces would have been incredibly difficult to dig out on level 19 speed. And already, Rawmations not necessarily receiving the most favorable pieces. He's probably going to have to go for something like a row 2 early on. Use a long bar, burn a triple, or something of that nature, but no. Long bar didn't come in a quick enough time, so Rawmations having to compromise with RNG. There's that triple I was talking about, so Rawmations can go for row 2 now. There's a Tetris for Sam Finch, and a long bar dependency created, but immediately filled. And as things stand, both players in a position to score Tetrises pretty frequently here on level 18. Sam Finch is going to be able to take the lead. Of course, he is burnless at the moment. Oh, nice overhang. He's going to be able to utilize that Z-Tuck. No adjustment on the T there. Another touch is going to be scored. A flawless 20 over here from Sam Finch. Rawmations in need of a T-piece. Misses the spin, so he's back in row 2. Left side's looking a little bit uncomfortable as well. Love an L piece. Doesn't find it, but does find the eyepiece, so a Tetris will be scored. It's going to be interesting to see how Ramation is going to be able to deal with this. Could look for another eyepiece, go for a triple, or, oh, doesn't decide to adjust, going to go for the split double. This is going to give Sam Finch an opportunity to continue to increase his lead. There's a game to try and pull out pacing on level 18. Game 3 is that game. You need something. You need a change in the momentum. You need something to go in your favor. The Ox Cords have won 5 games straight here in this matchup. And all it takes is for just one game to turn the tides. But speaking about turning the tides, Ramations finally gets that eyepiece. He's getting a wave of unfavorable pieces, but when things could have gotten dire, the eyepiece came at the greatest possible time. Well, probably not the greatest. Coming earlier would have been better, but I'm sure you guys get the point. 256 to now 258, and already Sam, being forced to do some more burns, has a massive line advantage. But each burn line that he takes is a burn line that Ramations is able to close the gap on in terms of pace. There is 308 to now 302. Long bar dependency field over there for Sam Finch. And just like that, majority of Sam Finch's lead has been evaporated. At best, he has a 2 Tetris lead. There's 1 Tetris. Ramation's going to be looking for an eyepiece fill in that dependency. And no, he actually goes for the Tetris first. Another eyepiece does come, so it's not going to be dangerous. But generally, you'll see a lot of players opt to fill in the dependency before going for the Tetris unless it's on higher speeds, where going for the Tetris is imperative to bring the stack down into safer positions. 414 to now 419. Seems like, oh, another misdrop for Sam Finch. He's able to recover the stack. We are about to transition over here for Ramations. 8 lines remain, and Sam Finch, things are going wrong, and they're going wrong fast. Finding some pretty clever burns, though. But Ramation's at 536, also with a massive Spire. So can't say things are going in his favor right now either. If anything, I can say that Ramations does have the lead. There's a 540 transition for Ramations. And there's a 505 transition for Sam Finch. 40,000 points behind Ramations at the time of transition. But the board is clean. He's brought it back under control. Nice delay burn over there for Ramations at 578. He's going to knock down another Tetris. Goes up to 603. Sam answers with one of his own, 564. There's a full level separating the two of them. So Sam Finch could have the advantage when it comes to pace. There's another Tetris for Sam. 592. Ramations at 685 has been on an absolute tear ever since we hit the post-transition. There's a Tetris for Sam, 648 to now 743. 100,000 points separate them, but also just about a full level. Not anymore following that Tetris for Sam, so we can be incredibly close. But players have been able to kind of match each other's efficiency here in the post-transition. 774 to now 703. Ramation's 1 Mino shy being Tetris ready, but was ready for that long bar. Both players knocked down a Tetris. 804 to now 732. Ramation's massive long bar dependency built up in the center. So forced to take some extra burns here. He's going to set up a delayed burn, and these pieces aren't resolving in Ramation's favor. He's forced to do some more burning. This is opportunity for Sam. Ramation's long bar dependent in the center yet again. This time gets it filled, but Sam has closed the gap to underneath a Tetris, and there is a line discrepancy between the two. So Sam has the pace advantage. There's another Tetris for Sam, 824 to now 879. It's going to have to come down to some 29 play if both of these players keep at it. There's a Tetris for Sam, 857 now. Ramation's pristine board, able to score Tetrises back-to-back without having to take any burns with the way that this is looking. There's a Tetris for Sam, 888 to now 914. One Tetris is all that separates them. Sam, double long bar dependent, fills in one long bar dependency, fills in the other, but had to burn in order to achieve that. We were closing in on level 29. Ramation's not going to go for the S-spin, holding out for the J-piece. Uses the J-piece, misses the S-spin. Now Ramation's just going to burn the stack down, but so does, that's exactly what Sam Finch needs to do. He needs to bring the stack down. This is game number 3. There are no more chances for Sam. He has to burn out of this, and he has to make a comeback. Ramation's one Tetris, or under a Tetris away from getting the max out. He's set up, he's clean. However, Sam Finch on the process of burning out. Ramation's keeping the board organized, waiting for that long bar, looking to score a Tetris, putting up for the long bar. Has to take a double into the Tetris right there. 836 now for Ramation's, and another Tetris going to be scored going into 29. Now Sam Finch, this is it. This is his last stand here. If he doesn't make this comeback, the Aux Cores will successfully have defeated the Rogues. And Sam Finch, only 3 lines to go before 29. There's the eyepiece, 29 hits, 966 for Sam Finch, and he has to survive. He's up incredibly high, doing a couple of necessary burns. Needs something. That split double is going to help Sam Finch stay alive. Nice burns. Needs to go for flat placements, but that's going to be it. Sam Finch stops it at 977, and Ramation's at B66 sweeps Sam Finch, meaning the Aux Cores take the match 3-1 and have successfully tied the Wavy Ones for 4th place this season. What a dominant display over here from Ramation's. Ever since we've hit the second half of the season, Ramation's has made a turnaround, pulling off some crazy matches up against the captains. The sweep from Sidney, now the sweep from Sam Finch. Aux Cores are shaping up to secure their spot in the playoffs. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for tonight's matchup